Hello, FlossTube Stitchers. Shelly here in front of the Erica Michaels trunk show again. Remember last week when I was wearing the earrings that kind of looked like fabric, or I thought it looked like silk gauze? Well, I was wearing them Tuesday night for our Just Stitching the Night Away. That's our open stitch group on the third Tuesday every month. And I was telling the ladies the story of why I bought them and then how I described them on the FlossTube video. And Shar Ramser said, "Do you want to know what I think they look like?" And I said, "Sure, go ahead." And she said, "I think they look like rice check cereal." So I get no respect. So I said, "Well, if you think my jewelry looks like food, I think it's time for me to serve dessert now." Then on the Friday fun night that we had, Monica, who goes by Maya Stitches on Facebook and Instagram and in the Mira groups, she was expressing what I think a lot of people might feel, that the silk gauze looks so delicate that they're afraid they're going to rip it or get a hole in it accidentally while they're stitching on it. So I was describing to them the way silk gauze is woven, which I don't think I talked about last time. It's called the Leno weave, and this is what it looks like. So you can see the two different colors going vertically. It's like a double wrap over the horizontal stitches. So I wanted to read something to you about the weave because I thought it was interesting. Leno weave, also called gauze weave or cross weave, is where two warp yarns are twisted around the weft yarns to provide a strong yet sheer fabric. The standard warp yarn is paired with a skeleton or dupe yarn. These twisted warp yarns grip tightly to the weft, which causes the durability of the fabric. Leno weave produces an open fabric with almost no yarn slippage or misplacement of threads. And that might sound familiar to those of you who have tried working over one and often find that you're losing every other stitch because linen was really meant to be worked over two. So the misplacing of the threads might be familiar to you. Leno weave fabric allows light and air to pass through freely, so are used in any area where a sheer open weave fabric is required that will not bruise, where the threads shift away from their woven uniformity, disturbing the beauty of the weave. If a simple in and out flat weave, that would be linen, were woven very loosely to achieve the same effect, the threads would have a tendency to this bruising. So let me tell you some things that you use in everyday life that are woven in this way that you might not realize. Produce bags, the kind that onions and potatoes come in. Shellfish bags for oysters, mussels, and clams. Bags for firewood. Curtains and drapery. Mosquito netting, and clothing, which we talked about last time. So I thought that would give you maybe a little, let's check the hair, give you a little more confidence in going into working with silk gauze. So at Friday Fun Night, we're talking about gauze, we're talking about over one, and everyone's giving their opinions. And Monica says, "People, you need to love yourself. Like, stop tormenting yourself with all this nonsense and crazy stitching and just stitch normally, you know," which I think is hilarious that she was so dramatic about that, because she is the biggest Mira fan on the planet, and she stitches all of these fairies, mermaids, ladies that have beads and metallic stitching, and then she adds her own touches of silk flowers and feathers and all kinds of stuff. And so she thinks silk gauze is daunting, while a lot of other people might look at her choice of stitching and find that to be beyond their capabilities. So everyone has their own opinion of what they can handle, and maybe we all need to step outside of our comfort zone every once in a while. And I've always thought if you're a crafter or a stitcher of any kind, that you can do any of the other things as well. It may not be your favorite craft or needlework, but you can do it. You already have the capability inside you. Okay, so let's get on to the models. The first one I'm going to show you is the Beatitudes. So that's the whole gauze piece, and then this is a little book. And one of my customers had seen this online recently, and for a brief moment, she thought that all of those individual verses were stitched on different colored fabric and then sewn together. That would be awesome too. That would be really fun. It would be bigger. So this is about 6 by 5.5, something like that. So if you did it on linen or Aida, it would start at, let's say, 40 count over 2 or 20 count Aida. It would be 11.5 by 10.5. And then all the way up to 28 or 14 count, it would be like a 16.5 by 15 piece, something like that. So it's not oversized if you want to do it on a different fabric than silk gauze. And this particular chart does not include the silk gauze because that's a fairly large piece of gauze and it can be pricey. And I don't think the designer wants to waste gauze by putting it in a project that doesn't need to be done on gauze and that the stitcher might choose to put aside and not use. So in that case, it's doable for all of you, not just people who do silk gauze. Then the other piece that was shown on the front is this little darling fabric book that she created using all the individual verses. I just want to show you some of the interesting fabrics that she chose to use in there. So that's really sweet. And then the next thing I want to show you is another book. This is a sampler of stitches, and these were originally done as free charts that you can still find on the Rainbow Gallery website. So some of you might already know about this, but she came out with the finishing instructions for the whole series. So if you've stitched some of those and are a little afraid of the finishing, or if you have the free charts but weren't sure what you were going to do with them, this would be very helpful. Okay, now I would like to show you some of her patriotic pieces since the trunk show will be gone before the 4th of July. The first is Liberty and Justice. That's the silk gauze, and then we have the linen pincushion. I think it was done on Confederate Gray, Weeks Dye Works. Then the next one is Owe Them All. So in addition to the tent and basket weave stitches, there's satin stitch in the white part of the flag, which gives it some texture. Then we have Victory and Peace. Come on. There's so much detail here. This needs to be done as a larger picture, right? I'm going to do this on some count of linen and make it a bigger piece. And I think it will be awesome. I can't wait. But I'm going to finish my Stitch Mania things first. All right, then the last is the 12 Berries of Christmas, which comes in 4 different charts with 3 designs in each. And I wanted to show you this one, 6 Geese A-Laying. Look at the eggs. I thought maybe they were queen stitch at first, but when I looked at the directions, it's like overlapping lazy daisies is kind of what she calls it. I think she made the stitch up herself, but they're so detailed. You have to look at each one of them individually to appreciate all the little stitches and the what. Here's another one that I thought was, look at the Lords leaping. Look at those. I can't believe she got such detail in those little men. And where was the other one? Oh yeah, the drummers. Look at how much detail is in that little drummer guy. Anyway, I thought those deserved a better look because I have them displayed in a basket, and I thought about hanging them on our little Christmas tree and dragging it over, but it still would have been too hard to show you, so I wanted to talk about that. And then, speaking of berries, last week's giveaway was my needleberry, which includes the silk gauze. So I was encouraging people to give it a try. And the name I drew was Jennifer King, who actually said that she already has the linen version of this chart. So Jennifer, let me know if you'd rather have a different berry. So this is a slightly different design because it has more detail to it, and you may want this, but if you decide you want a different one of the berries in silk gauze, I'm happy to exchange that for you. So we'll talk. The giveaway for this week is going to be Oh Them All. So a portion of the proceeds of the sale of each chart goes to, I don't know if you say this as a word or just the initials, TADSAW, TADSAW, helping soldiers, veterans, and their rescue dog partners. And it stands for Train a Dog, Save a Warrior. So I wanted to contribute to that cause by purchasing this chart to use as a giveaway. All you have to do is say "me please" to be in the drawing for that. And then I wanted to also remind you, I don't think I showed the picture for a couple weeks, the Halloween needlework accessories class that's coming up on Sunday, July 7th with Livia and Paola Rovaris. So we still have a few openings in that class if you're interested. Everything comes with it. So all the pins, the buttons, the ribbon, the fabric, I think that's a wooden base, the silver spider. But if you can't come to the class, I know it's a holiday weekend, but you're available on Saturday afternoon, then you can drop by the shop in the afternoon, maybe between 1 and 5 or something like that, to see the trunk show, which will be on display on this wall, and also for a meet and greet. So I think that would be really fun. They do speak English, but it'll be really fun to see their models up close and personal and to meet them and get their impression of the United States, because they're kind of spending part of the summer here, and I think that'll be really fun. I wanted to really thank everybody for watching, and especially to those of you who have subscribed. I have over 650 in the subscription so far, which I know isn't a ton, but it's a lot to me, and I really appreciate it, and I've had fun watching that number grow. So has my husband. As soon as I load a video, like 15, well, because they're about 15 minutes, about 20 minutes later, he'll go, "You have 5 views," or "You have new subscribers." So I don't think he actually watches them. I think he just keeps track of the numbers for me. So anyway, I really appreciate everybody returning and watching more of the videos. You're telling me that you like the shorter length, so I have a place here with that idea, and that you are learning a lot from the tips. And I hope that the tips are being presented in such a way that I am helping you improve your stitching, or make projects easier or take you out of your comfort zone and give you confidence in doing something new that you haven't tried before, rather than coming off as, I know more than you, because that's not the way it's intended. And I also wanted to point out that my goal as a shop owner is not just to sell things, that you can work anywhere and just sell product. But I really wanted this to be a place of community and of education. And I hope I'm doing my job. So thanks for watching. You know what? I'm going to call this one drinking game for how many times I said the word so, because this is my second time through and I think I only eliminated half of them. Thanks for watching and have a great week, everyone. Bye.